Yay. Here it is. Hi, everyone. My name is Helena.
And I'm Kelly.
We are Speaker Insight, where we help speakers, authors, and coaches to build a portfolio business on your terms. And we are excited because we get to be together
Again.
And we apologize because last time we didn't quite manage to be together, and we wanted to do this one together, which is really good. So we're always going to kick off with the buzz in our business, aren't we? So you've got some buzz whilst I share out various things.
Yeah, we've swapped roles today because at my house, Helena's internet doesn't like Helena's computer doesn't like my internet.
Yeah, I don't know. They're not dating.
And after she had all the internet problems last week in Scotland, we're not taking any chances.
Truly.
So I am device free, which is actually quite apt because that's part of the buzz in our business this week. So for those of you joining us, give me a thumbs up if you have watched the Netflix phenomenon that is called The Social Dilemma, because I've watched it and Helena's due to watch it.
Yes.
But as synchronicity has it, we both decided this week to start a social media detox. In the fact that, don't worry, those of you in the hub, we're not going to abandon you.
Don't worry, we really won't.
But what we're doing is we're actually limiting our social media time, limiting our boundaries. So we only log on 3 times a day to any form of social media, and we limit our time that we're in there for an hour each. So you'll get to see that we will respond, but we might not be as quick as what we have been over the last couple of years in the hub with putting links and responses.
And we have actually, I mean, this was part of what we began a little while back, sort of. So when we started putting approval on our posts inside the group, that was one of the ways in which we're doing it. But we're just beginning to really highlight it even more.
Yeah. And it's really tough for me. I'm really struggling, right?
I'm having to manage her a little bit.
I'm having going cold turkey with when people are addicted to stuff. Because what I've done is I've turned all my notifications off my phone. And I don't have anything open other than the whatever website is that I'm working on. I won't have Facebook open as a tab. So I don't get those little blinks of notifications of, oh, FOMO, what am I missing out on? Or what do I need to jump on? I do feel like I need to do something with my hands. Anyway, so it's one of the good things to do is to make sure that social media isn't, the Social Dilemma is a great perspective of seeing how content might be biased and how they're using us as the product for marketers and advertisers. Is quite eye-opening. Yeah. But it's not there to scare you. It's not one of those ones that go, oh my God, Big Brother's watching and I can't do anything about it. You can do a lot of things about it. And one of the things you can do is take control and have that wider perspective when you're looking at content online and where it's coming from. So give me a thumbs up in the comments if you're watching this on the replay, that hashtag replay, but also give me a thumbs up if you've seen Social Dilemma and whether you're changing your social media habits as a result of that. Yeah. So that's the one bit of buzz. That's the other bit. The bigger bit of buzz, which is actually part of today and why we're really glad that you guys, I can see there's 10 of you joined already, and I'm sure some of you could still come in and give me a hi if you're watching this live so we can see you.
They're not talking to us today. Let's say hello.
Because they're not on social. They're not supposed to be on social. They're sneakily watching this. God, yeah, I'm going to have to change all that stuff. Oh, anyway. Stop. So the bigger buzz is that marketing is one of the things, when we talk about a portfolio business and managing a portfolio business, one of the things that a lot of our Changemaker Central members ask us about is about the marketing side of things. Hey, Kat.
Hey, Kat.
And how do we do marketing on your terms? We can rant for a long time, which was not going to be the best use of this Facebook Live, that we don't really endorse things like swipe copy. We definitely endorse funnels and systems and having a procedure, but not a simple copy and paste. Here's the words to put in your email campaign, your social media post, because that's not marketing your way, right? That's not the uniqueness of you. And everyone starts to see, oh, okay, they've learned it from so-and-so and I'm in that funnel and I'm in that sequence, and people switch off. The other bit about marketing your way is about also doing what you like to do in your style, right? So we love doing this because this is just, it's fun, right? And we get to educate people and we get to see all these people saying, hi, everyone, I see you here. I'm never watching anything.
I never watch anything that everyone is watching. So later on, love, later on.
When the trends happened. But yeah, so what we want to do in this Facebook Live is help you get streamlined, automated,
For sure.
and understand, get clarity really around planning your marketing.
Planning.
But we're also going to give you ways to do that, but with the freedom to do it in your unique style.
And that's the important piece. It really is. Because here's the thing, right? Right now, as a speaker, author, coach, you will be faced with like dozens, millions of marketing tactics that people are throwing at you, the platforms, the technology. And honestly, we forgive you for procrastinating, because like, oh my gosh, where do you start? Like, you know, even where do you swear word start? You know, it's that. It's like, and so you go and you hide under a pillow in some way. So, you know, what we find, bearing in mind that, you know, sort of we really help speakers, authors, coaches to manage their businesses. You know, we are the port of call that actually keeps you on track and allows you to do that.
Yeah.
And we find that a lot of people just come to us after they've tried the one size fits all kind of, you know, element of it, to, you know, whether it's lead gen, whether it's social media, whether it's email marketing, because they're disappointed because they have a goal in mind and they just didn't achieve that result, or it felt really like, this is like wearing a size 10 when I'm a size 16
or constricted.
Or whatever.
I'm not able to express who I want to be. I have to do it in this. We know creatives don't like formulas and strategy and structure, and they just want to do it in their way. And we're going to allow you to do that, right?
Exactly.
Because the bit of the buzz is that we have a new product for you. And the even buzz on the buzz is that it doesn't cost that much at all.
Which is really cool. So I mean, like, that's like a double win right there. So we're going to give you this roadmap and the resources, all the resources you could possibly want, to ensure you that you really can and do probably have a strategy, and you know what to do on a daily basis. Because which is part of this whole kind of detox piece as well. Because if you know what to do, you're not squandering or wasting time. How many of you have frittered away time going, I'm on social media, or I'm doing my thing, but actually not really achieving anything? I'm not saying anything to the person who's sitting next to me.
Like flying somewhere.
But what we want to do is we want you to know what content to post, how to leverage it, how to automate your time, so that you can actually work, deliver all the goodness, the creativity that you have, as well as be marketing and, dare I say it, track what's working and what's not.
And so in this live, we're going to, again, it's always with our lives, pen and paper one, because we're going to give you a lot of information. So this isn't like I'm going to then tell you all the stuff to sell you the product at the end. The product at the end just basically makes it easy for you and gives you all the plans and templates and guides. But we're still going to go through what means to market your way. So there's still going to be lots of advice and guidance in this live.
And I would really recommend that as you're listening, you go, hang on a minute, actually, I have tried that. And what I want to do is I want to do this differently. So how do I do it? So I'm really urging you, inviting you to ensure that as we say something, you go, hadn't tried that, make a note to do that. So make a note of the actions that come up as a result of it, because the resource is right there and available. So you don't need to take notes on the resource, but take notes on what you might want to do with that.
Action steps. Always action.
Always
right?
action.
So give me a thumbs up if you guys want to know more about how to help yourselves with your marketing and doing it in a style that works for you, just so that we know if this is a topic that's interesting for you, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching this on the replay. I have no idea what Dilraj is laughing about, but something that we must have said.
It was ages ago. Okay. It was ages ago.
And apparently I've never heard of
Chapesses. Yeah.
I get it. Okay.
Yeah. Chapesses. What's not to love about that? Hi, Jack.
As long as it's not Chavez's. Anyway, it's quite small over there.
Just continue.
All right. So one of the first things we need to do about when you're thinking about marketing, we always start right back here.
Up, just so
perfect. I want more than one. The first place to start with your marketing is always doing an audit. Okay. So what do I mean by an audit? We find that a lot of people go into marketing, and actually when they're either in time to launch, or whether they're in this stage where they're actually doing it, they go, that logo doesn't match that brand. That hex color is different to this. That tagline's changed now. Oh, I don't have up-to-date photos. All these things that are really important, because we work very much on quarterly basis. We work on 90 days all the time. And what we want to ensure that you do is actually remember the developments that you've done in that 90 days, the changes. Has your avatar changed slightly? Has the pain points, especially over the last quarter that we've been through with coronavirus, so many people's businesses have shifted and changed whether it's in their marketing messages, whether it's in the products that they offer, whether they've gone through a revamp.
Whether it's just the rhythm of when you do what, even that's changed.
And so what you want to do on at least a quarterly basis, and we do get our Changemaker Central members to do this, and I'll get my whip out because we have our review meeting this Thursday night. So all of you Changemakers watching, you've got to have your tracker done.
Yeah.
But what we encourage everybody to do is to do an audit on your brand, right? Audit on your marketing assets. Have I got things up to date? Do things look the same across all the social media platforms?
Yeah.
Do I need to make adaptations? And do I need to do this in time? Because if you want new photos done and we go into another lockdown or whatever happens, you want to plan ahead. So you've got the assets ready to do this. And I would want you to, if you have regular strategy days in your business, to have some form of marketing audit in there as a regular activity, just to ensure consistency with your brand, and so that you're not running around like a deer in headlights trying to get a logo designed at last minute, or you know, whatever it might be.
It's just too much pressure. Why
it's
would
not on
you
your
do
terms,
that?
right?
Exactly, exactly. So here's the thing. The number one priority really for your marketing is for your marketing to get you more leads. So as Kelly just said, you know, we're about to do the quarterly planning. On a quarterly basis, you need to identify what are the top five marketing or lead generation channels that you are going to be focusing on. You know, so that might be, is it PR? Is it offering out a new lead magnet? Is it doing webinars? Is it speaking on stages and so on? So there's a whole bunch of things that you can actually do. Because if you limit yourself to the 5, then once you've got those leads, you can then, you know where to show up, how to show up, when to show up. You can then design in the automated marketing funnel that then nurtures and converts them into clients, hopefully while you sleep, which is really good. Now, we actually did a training on that a while back around, sales and marketing funnels explained, especially because people...
It was just me. I did the training. I did it with Michelle.
She's a bit rude and feisty today. I'm going to have to put up with this for a while, I think. So maybe I just won't put the link in.
Maybe I'll put the link in later.
Oh my God. I'm going to put the link in for you because I'm generous, as you can see.
Yeah, basically
just tell them more information.
That training just shows you the marketing flows, because the tech bit is what holds people back, isn't it?
For sure.
And they don't know how to connect the lead page to the CRM, to the thank you page, to the blah, blah, blah. So that training...
You might even be swearing at people right now. We explain what those mean as well. When I say we, she, and Michelle explain that.
Okay, so audit.
Yes.
Second, identify lead generation channels.
For sure.
They might change every quarter.
Yeah.
Have 5, because at least then you're spreading yourself widely.
Yes. Move on.
I think I've had something to drink. It's the detox.
It's the detox.
It's like all the
toxic, like things are spilling out all over the edges. I would stay until the end because we just don't know what's going to happen.
Okay, so the next one. This is what most people don't do around their marketing, is set targets.
Yes.
Okay, and I know it's a horrible word because you guys really hate numbers and you hate
such a good thing.
But this is why most people get disappointed for 2 reasons, right? Either people didn't give themselves a goal. Yeah. So they just went, oh, I want to launch a course. And then they don't have a goal of how many registrations or courses they want to sell. They just want to launch the course. Mm-hmm. The second reason why people are disappointed is because they had unrealistic expectations.
Oh, yes.
And they didn't do something which we love to do, which was reverse engineer the goal to understand what marketing activity needs to be involved to make that happen. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not going to scare you. I'm going to give you a little example of what we mean by reverse engineering. And this is taking very, very basic sales conversions. Obviously, if you're trained in sales, you've been honing your craft for a while, your conversion ratios are different, but it's to illustrate a point, more to say this is what it's going to be. Yeah. Let's say you were launching an online course and you had very small numbers and you only wanted 10 people to sign up, right? I have no idea why you don't even put that number, but I like round numbers and 10 is good.
Yeah. Make it easy. Make it easy.
Make it easy. So you want 10 people to sign up to this online course when you first launch it.
Yeah.
That means if you were using a channel, which was, say, for example, creating lead magnets to get people into your database, to nurture them, to build relationship and trust with them, and then to educate them why they need this product, this online course to move to the next stage, then this means that we probably need that lead magnet to be downloaded to be seen, let's say, by 1,000 people. So 1,000 people needed to have clicked on the opt-in page that tells them, so say, for example, we have an online course to teach you how to create online courses. Our lead magnet is a comparison guide of all the different course hosting platforms out there. Thinkific, Kajabi, blah, blah, blah. So you can decide which platform to go with before you make the course. For sure. Logical, right? So you'd go through an email nurture campaign, and at the end, we'd say, we've got a course that teaches you how to create online courses. Here's the link. It's really cheap. Start your journey here.
That's right.
If we wanted to sell 10, we'd need 1,000 people to see that opt-in page. And then what you'd normally get is a 10% conversion. It's just working on this as a 10-10-10 conversion ratio. 1,000 people, 10 people opt in, which means 100 people.
10%, she means.
10%, sorry, and now in your email database, going through your emails. And then if you take another 10% of those 100 people will buy the course at the end.
Equals 10
people. So that shows you. And when people go to me, I want to sell 100 courses, and I ask them how many people are in their email nurture or have opted in, how many people have seen the social media post, how many people have had some form of engagement, and they go, probably about 30 people. Then you're like, well, this is why you're not getting the results that you wanted, because it's the unrealistic expectation.
But it is really reassuring to actually now know that, because if you think about it, you go, hang on a minute, if I do want to sell 10, 20, 30, whatever it is, you've now got a formula for working back the numbers.
And it's not just about the outcome of a launch or something that we want you to monitor. We also have weekly and monthly goals to make sure we know things that we're tracking. So things like, how much is our Facebook group growing by? And on average, it's 50 to 100 people a week. It has been since we hit about 5,000 members. Then how many people are adding to your database on a weekly basis? So we track weekly. You track however frequently you want, but that's coming from the lead magnets. What's the most popular lead magnet out there? How many people are subscribing to your blog or your podcast?
For sure.
Depending on what assets you've got there, you want to be making sure you're monitoring what's the most popular channel that people are consuming or connecting with you on, and how are you increasing that reach all the time? Because what we want you to do is always increase your reach and your impact, so that you're able to connect and work with more people.
You're a change maker after all. You want to change the world. You're a speaker, author, coach for a reason, right?
And this measuring and setting targets overcomes the things that we hate, which is spraying and praying, right? What we mean by that is that people have an idea, they just blur about it, and they hope that it will convert with no understanding of metrics, with no targets in mind, with no measurement. And they just don't know what is and what isn't working in their marketing. And that's really important for you to know, because then you can do more of what is working.
Exactly. So far we've talked about, you start by doing an audit. How and where are you showing up? You then look at what's your priority and how are you going to go and get those leads, preferably on a quarterly basis. We then do what Kelly says, which is set some targets to actually help you, leverage your time as you do it. And then we come to my favorite thing, which is creating the content, which is probably your favorite thing as well. But I bet you there are times, how many of you have gone to create some content and go, I've got no idea what to write about or talk about in some way. If that rings true, please feel free to say so. Dilraj is completely agreeing, which is good. But it's this. If that's you, tell us. Yes, that's me. The content stumps me, because you actually know a whole bunch of content, but it's when you come to do it in a concentrated manner that you go, I don't actually know what to talk about. So this is why it's really, really important to know your key messages and to talk about the framework that you've developed around your IP. Now, if those are foreign concepts to you, you haven't been in our world for very long. Welcome. And B, it's actually about you ensuring that you actively know what you're talking about at all times. Our Changemaker members know this all too well because we just drill it into them. The more you know your framework, the more you've created it into a specialized piece of IP that you own, that is your known for, seen as element, that is the thing that allows you to always have something to talk about. So it allows you to create endless amounts of content, and in different styles. So we've got a couple of ways for you to kind of start that process. The first one of those absolutely is to listen. I know that sounds like an oxymoron. It's like, what I want to do is put things out, and you're asking me to just step back and listen. How does that work? But if you hang out where your avatar is hanging out, and you just start making a note of the questions they ask, the trends that they're talking about, the things that concern them, I promise you'll be assuming that they're thinking about one thing, and you'll be learning that they're really thinking about something that you would consider, quote, basic in some way. And the
common sense is
exactly,
common knowledge.
Yes, for sure. So start to build that into a little bit of a frequently asked questions things, like develop your own little FAQ, because those things are going to create the content for you. It's going to create the assets for you, and it allows you to do. The second thing is definitely allow it. Looking at creating research, doing some polls, doing some surveys, just to discover their needs and creating the content. So we've got two resources for you around all of this. So the first one of them that relates really to this creation of content is, and I'm just going to share it out here for you, is this difference between, because the thing that people get really stuck on when we were listening is, well, what do I give out for free? And then what do I pay for, right?
Yeah. So what do I get paid for?
Exactly.
So what's the difference between a blog post, a lead magnet, and a paid program, right?
And what goes in each one of those? Like, which bit of content do I actually do? How am I not over giving? And that's what. So if you have a problem with over giving, definitely watch this one, right? So the second piece is actually you might have a preferred style. We love to do this Facebook Live, right? So we love to do this, but we also like to create memes. We like to do discussion posts. We like to do the polls. And so it depends on your avatar has different style. They might like things presented to them differently. Some people love to read a long post. Right?
Yeah, but this Facebook Live is more based on research about tribes.
Yes.
So it's not so much about the different memes. It's about.
She means the one I'm about to put in the comments.
So this one is actually, the difference between a vulnerability post and something which is maybe a behind the scenes types of post. Yeah. And in this, we actually explain it's more about the content in context. And therefore, you can actually look behind research to say what type of content increases the engagement level and sees you in a different light.
For sure.
I think it is.
And I think one of the key things for me around that is that you actively want to be doing something different for your groups. But coming back to what Kelly was saying about targets, one of the other things that we measure as part of our targets is actually engagement.
Yeah.
And that is one of the key things that a lot of people say, well, how do I measure that? This and having the different types of posts is the thing that overall increases your engagement, because you are going widely out to people and they have preferred learning and consumption styles. And some of them might also be doing some detoxing. So they might not like to read long posts. They've got
limited time. Just give it to
that's
me.
Right, exactly.
So in the product that we've got, the Market Your Way, we've got these things for you. So we've got the what to measure and actually, guides of what to do and how to measure it. We've got content creation of actually how to create 2 years worth of content posts in half an hour. So, we are really hand holding you through this process. What we're teaching you on the live is just some extra bits that go in it as well. So one of the things that we also hear where people get stuck with marketing is they go, oh, I haven't really started marketing properly yet because I've got a small social media reach. I've got a small email database. So I haven't actually got the traction yet. And I'm not going to do much yet until I start to get those numbers.
Small can be beautiful.
I'm still got to keep my mouth shut.
I did that just for you.
If you've got that mentality, then your marketing and your reach is always going to stay small because everyone has to start somewhere. So yes, show up in your group, on your email database, wherever your people that you have got that are the small group, nurture them.
Yes.
Treat them like VIPs.
Yes.
They normally become the ambassadors of your company as you grow. We know that we started, and what have we got now?
Yeah.
Over 7,500,
8,000
8,000 members in the hub now, and the people that were there at the beginning, some of them are on this live, right? So we know that you create that loyal connection with people. But I would also encourage you to spend half an hour a day, not much, hanging out in other networks where there is a huge reach of your ideal avatar.
Yes,
okay?
Not willy-nilly kind of social mediaing,
not the
purposeful
not
social
the
media
cat videos, whatever it is. But initial cat avatar is a cat, but anyway. God, I need coffee. So what I want you to do is actually think about groups that have your ideal avatar. I always give the rule of thumb that, you know, if it can be sort of 5,000 members and above, then great. If you also want to check out that group is engaged, so it's not that people put posts and it's tumbleweed and there's no likes and engagement. You want an engaged group. Yes. The Connection Hub is a prime example of an engaged group. Actually, we haven't put the link to the hub in, have we?
I think I did. Right,
did you? Maybe I don't see anything because my eyesight's so bad.
But I'll pop it in now, just in case you're not a member. But you really should be. And I hardly ever use that word.
And this goes back to what Helena said earlier: is when you're in those groups, you listen. Right? It's not just being in there on their promo days and putting a thing out. It's actually showing up, scrolling through the news feed and actually going, can I answer anyone's questions? Can I be of service? Can I show up in a way that people go, oh, who is that person? That was a good answer. And then they follow you. And we have trainings on how this process works in Facebook in our recorded trainings. If you're not in the hub, then you can see that for sure. Personally, this is where I come in when the role. Helena is very much the one-to-one person. She meets and has coffee with people. I'm very much the digital networker. So I go into groups. I have 5 groups that I'm part of that actually have a combined reach of 2 million people. Right. So, some of them have got 250,000 members in there. So when I go in there and I show up, I know I'm being seen by quite a lot of people. If we go back to those conversion ratios, I'm getting a lot of eyes on the stuff that I put in there. And I just basically, you'll see it, and I'll be interested if you're watching this live or you're watching this on the replay, whether anyone's come into the Connection Hub by seeing a post from Helena or myself about it in somebody else's group. For sure. And we are the queens of basically going, oh, we've got a training on that. And we put, like Helena's been doing in the comments here, if we can answer a question in somebody else's group with a training that we've done that's free to watch, you're not breaking other people's group rules with, for example, links to paid products, asking for services. You're adding value by saying, oh, we can teach you how to market your way. We can teach you how to build an online course. Here's a training on that, right? And so,
it's like, it's very, very strategic.
But it works because what's happening is I'm answering those people's questions. I'm adding value. They're going, oh, who are these funny 2 people? Let me go and explore their world, because we always have the call to action to come and join the Connection Hub. We don't always have lead magnets or products because most of the time we're adding value. But if it's of service, we will do. So it really works to make sure that you're showing up in people's places and still doing those promo days when it's needed. But it's more about listening to what other people are asking for, creating lead magnets around frequently asked questions, and also adding training that you've done exclusively to your group or your page, and then spreading it around. Exactly.
Bearing in mind that we all have that beautiful, unique perspective. So even if it's something that you have, a view on, it might be a question that's commonly asked of a lot of marketers. If, for example, you're a marketer, or a leadership coach in some way, you're in that area, but you're going to have a total spin on it from your perspective, from your expertise, your experience, from everything that you've done. And that then helps you create your unique piece of content that you can then share out as added value, right?
And that's just for you getting seen in maybe other people's groups. We still encourage you as well, for sure, to be guest on Facebook Lives, blogs, podcasts, webinars with people with the reach. So one of the things that I don't want you to get bombarded thinking, oh my God, I need to do loads of interviews. We get asked quite a lot now to be on people's podcasts or Facebook Lives. And I actually have a Survey Monkey form where
it's flattering, but
But we have to be really strategic with my time, especially as I now only have 3 hours a day on Facebook. I've got to be even more strategic with my time, right? But I've got a survey. If somebody wants to interview me, there's a form which goes, okay, can you please complete this? What's the size of your database? Who's your avatar? What platform do you use? Zoom? What's the tech behind it? So that I can work out, one, is it going to be a win-win for both of us? Have I got the knowledge that their group or their audience wants? Have they got the impact? Because they might only have 100 members, but if they are hot members, then I might do that. If there are people that might not be as engaged, then I'd need an increased reach, right? So it needs to be a couple of thousand people to see that or whatever. So it's about you knowing that you're making these choices by showing up on other people's platforms as conscious decisions, because they are good marketing decisions. They're not just, oh, glory, I'm going to be on someone's podcast that one person's going to hear.
And therefore, it is a good business decision. And we want you, after all, you are running a speaker, author, coach business, and we really want you to run it well. So part of marketing your way is for you to learn to choose how you spend your time, energy, resources, money, and skills, right? So here's the thing. We definitely hear you. You don't want to be spending all of your time marketing, even though it sounds like that's what we're encouraging you to do. So here, ask yourself, how much of the time, and this is a word that we use often, but it might be new to you. And if so, this will explain it to you. How much of your content are you actually repurposing, i.e. making it work hard for you? So in the Market Your Way product, what we've actually done is we've listed out how one Facebook Live can turn into 16 different things that you can actually put out there. That's a real good use of leveraging your time and your information into something else now. And it doesn't even all need to be done by you. Like our VA absolutely does this. So we might do this live, for example, and our VA is going to take that and pull it apart in all sorts of ways, which we detail sort of for you. But you can turn that into a lot of different content. And because that person works with us on a regular basis, she does it in our voice, in our style, but it's you making the content work for you so that it goes out into the different, remember those 5 channels that we were just talking about? It can actually be utilized in those 5 channels as well as elsewhere, right?
Yeah, I think that's the thing, because when people outsource marketing to VAs or PR people or whatever, they're very worried about losing their voice.
Yes.
But if you can create the master bit of content, whether that's a podcast or Facebook Live, which gives them half an hour's worth of content, then they already have the content to then repurpose the words you actually said and what the advice you're giving. They don't have to make that up. They just repurpose that across the other platforms. So we don't really use many other social media platforms because we focused on Facebook.
For sure.
But we do have this video that goes onto our YouTube channel. Yes. We do have the transcribes that go onto our podcast, which you'll hear about soon. And all those various different things. And we have the memes and stuff that get taken out. So it's just thinking about making assets work for you, as Elena said.
And the beautiful thing about that is the thing that I mentioned before, that 2 years worth of content, when you've done the thinking around that creation, that then makes it very easy for you to go, I will do a half-hour webinar or Facebook Live on X topic, which can then be repurposed. So you get to see that there's a whole stream of thinking behind this, right?
And then the last bit, which is the bit where we know that people need the help, because it's just where people get stuck, is actually having the clarity around a plan. Okay, so when you have a plan, one, it holds you accountable.
For sure.
2, you actually know what you need to do, so you don't waste that time procrastinating, thinking, oh, I don't know what content to put, or I don't know where to put it, or I don't know what the purpose is, I don't know how many people I need to see on this. But there are 3 different types of plans that we would make sure that people have an understanding of and a strategic approach to. So those 3 plans are, 1, the first one is having a product launch plan, right? So when you're launching a product, there is a lot of steps that need to go in beforehand.
There's a lot of work.
Right? And our advice to most people is actually it takes 3 months of marketing to launch when you're ready. And most people give it a couple of weeks.
It's like, I'll do a launch.
And this isn't what we class as marketing your way, because it becomes very frantic, hectic, stressful, you miss things, everyone's under pressure by doing stuff last minute when it doesn't need to be that way.
For sure.
So a product launch would actually entail everything from affiliation to branding to the setup of the system to, you know, how measuring those lead generations, nurturing them, all those things, right? So
even defining where to show up, as we just
it's really detailed. But I just want to give you that highlight that actually this plan works on a 3-month reverse engineered basis, which is what we always talk about.
Yeah.
The second plan, which all of you need, is an evergreen marketing plan. Yes. So that would be something which is working all the time. It never changes, whether you're launching or not, whether you're on holiday or not, it's still working 24 hours around the clock. So with ours, you'll see that we have monthly newsletters. You'll see that we have daily posts in the hub. You'll see that we have posts on our page. These are things that are consistent and they are scheduled, right? So we don't have to think about it. Our VA will schedule, what's our schedule till 2020?
2022?
Something like that.
22.
But all of our posts are scheduled until then. We can add more in as we grow.
So here's the thing. We can add more in, but also the scheduled ones allow us to be ad hoc around the trends and the things that we're seeing. So that listening that you're doing doesn't fall on deaf ears. It isn't kind of tumbleweed time, and we're not relying on that. That's a base.
Yeah. And that base is great because, say, for example, you're on limited social media time, right? The scheduled post, that's not counted in that. But what is counted is that you're knowing that you're showing up every day for your audience.
Yes.
And you can physically show up and in the engagement stage, which is the comments of those posts, rather than posting the posts themselves. Yeah. So that's where you're actually going to get more of the interaction, add more value and keep more conversations going, rather than actually putting the post out there. So having that consistency really does, I think that has been one of the main success factors of the growth of the Connection Hub. Yeah, because of that consistency in the way that we do a Facebook Live every Tuesday at 1.
You know where to find us.
Yeah, so that people know where to go and what to go to us for.
Here's the thing. For other people who are going to be starting to limit their social time, our desire is that our groups and our content is so attractive that we become one of those 5 groups that people want to hang out in, right? That's kind of, if you think about it as an end result, what's the end result we want to create? We want to create a really cool space where people can hang out and actually get what they need.
And in that evergreen marketing plan, which obviously we do have lots of guides and templates for you in the Market Your Way product. Yeah. But in there, we also ensure that you've got those different types of content. So you need content that raises awareness. You need content that creates engagement. You need content that generates leads. Yeah. You need content that is adding extra value and going above and beyond. Yeah. And then you need content that's promoting the things that are the paid stuff that you want people to do, which a lot of people forget to do, right?
Yes. but then don't overdo it.
Yeah, because then what you want is if you use the 80-20 rule, if 80% of the marketing and content you put out there is valuable, is adding value, is raising awareness, is really getting people to have those conversations, liking, building trust with you, then when you do a 20% post, which is actually saying, okay, now we've done this, come and do the first step and come and work with us. Yeah. Then actually people are going, I'm okay with that, because they've earned the right to then say, I can lead you to the next step. Yeah. Which goes back to that Facebook Live that Helena put in there about the difference between free and paid content. So definitely watch that live if you haven't done that.
Joe's just being very kind. Joe Fellas has just said, you guys are brilliant at creating models on how to market effectively. Thank you, darling.
That's awesome. So you've got the product launch plan, ideally 3 months before you launch. Yes. You've got the evergreen marketing plan, which is your scheduled stuff that never changes, that has posts that involve all of those aspects that I just said, lead gen, raising awareness, adding value. Yeah. And then the last plan that you need, which doesn't need to be evergreen, but in my opinion, we'd need to be thinking about this on a quarterly basis, going back to those channels that Helena said, is your lead generation plan. Yeah. Right? So if you've got a launch coming up, you need some lead gen before the launch. Yeah. And you might want to be saying, okay, so I've chosen these 5 channels of where my lead gen is going to come from, but what's the plan, right? What's the plan of attack? How do I get them? How do I find them? What do I do? And then how do I nurture them? Yeah. And that is actually a process in itself.
For sure. So, you know, sort of, and it might be related to either the evergreen or to the launch that you're doing. So if you go, oh, I'm launching this particular thing. Okay, where, you know, what's the lead gen that I can do? Where am I going to hang out for those specific things so that I actually am giving myself the best opportunity when I launch to an audience who really want this thing.
Yeah.
So that's why the 5 are important, and that's why it's important about where you show up, because we know that our avatar, they are kind of a solid avatar, but there are nuances, aren't there?
Yeah. So you might be
You're fixing a particular problem.
When we're, say, for example, networking meetings, when we start to actually meet human beings.
When we can do that, when we're allowed.
And you want to have that whole like meeting people, then knowing that your LinkedIn Connect is switched on and you can connect with the people in the room and that they added to them, and then have you got that process afterwards that then says, hey, it was really great to meet you at that BNI meeting. Here's something I think about. Having that process set up for one channel, which is different to a lead magnet, which is a PDF that they download that go into your CRM and get an email nurture campaign, which is different to using something like textlocal.com when you're speaking on stage and getting them to come over to download your offer and then going into your CRM system. This is what we mean by lead magnet plans.
Yeah.
Looking at the channel and then going, so what's the process and the tech and the system that I need to set up behind that to make those leads convert into sales and also into raving fans, right? Because that's the important. It's not just about selling, it's about impacting.
Yeah.
That's what Changemaker is about.
And you were really looking to build, as Kelly just noticed, you know, sort of, it's like, who is showing up for you on a regular basis? It's that lifetime. You want to be there for people for the most amazing length of time so that you can continue to help them, because that's all part of it. It's relationship building much more than it is sales getting or just marketing. We are in the business of generating relationships. And the final piece of the puzzle is you need to know that that's happening. So we're back to targets, but actually back to tracking what's working. So this is the step that most people forget. They forget to actually stop on a regular basis, because you need a system that actually tracks those numbers. It's all well and good looking at the numbers, but you actually want to look at those numbers in context, because you want to look at your own trends, the seasonality around things, the way in which, you know, sort of like the blips might happen, the way in which things like Corona might have affected it in all sorts of ways. But you need to understand what the progress is, what the sales are, what the engagement is, what the results are, because otherwise, how do you know that it's working and to know more of it? Or how do you know that it isn't working, or which bit of it isn't working? There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do around that.
And it's really important when people go to the next level of marketing and start to do paid advertisement or things like that, and they go before they even know what their own organic impact is. So if you're going to a Facebook ads person, that person might ask you about your conversion, your reach, your stats. And if you don't know that, then they're going to go, well, why would you spend money before you know what's working? Let's just know what's working and then build on that and amplify it.
I just want to hold there for a minute. Did those of you who thought, I really should do Facebook ads, ever consider that? So I just want to hold you for a second and go, actually, marketing is a longer term game. And that's why we're doing what we're doing. Because unless you know the organic reach, unless you actually have something to base it on, you're not necessarily exactly what Tosin's actually saying. You're not actually going to make the most of your resources. So remember, we talk about building a business on your terms. That's using your time, your energy, your resources, your money, and your skills in a good way that actively builds the business. It's foolish to not know your numbers. So I'm going to be really frank about it.
And most people don't. So don't beat yourself up about that either. And most people have no idea of any of they don't even know their reach. They don't have people on their database. They don't know their email open rates. They don't know their conversion ratios. So don't start thinking, I'm a failure.
Don't panic. And Tosin, don't worry about your head going around in circles. It's fine. We've got you.
Yeah, but this is the point, Tosin. So even though in this, it's been 45 minutes.
I know.
45 minutes where we're just trying to give you some of the bits that people don't consider in marketing, and then they just do the tactical approach, which they're not owning, and they're they're not having that ownership over.
Yeah.
People might still feel like what you do, Tosin, is that I get it, but my head's still in a space, which is exactly why we created Market Your Way as a product. And Helena's going to put a link in there for you now. Because in there, you cannot get lost.
Yes.
You cannot be confused, and you cannot go, I don't know what to do, because it's a step-by-step. Start with the audit, go through to the channels, create the lead magnets and the funnels, do all the things that we've just spoken to. We give you step-by-step guides.
Yeah.
We give you templates and ways and plans for every step. So it literally is learn, do, record.
Yes.
Learn, do, record.
That's it.
And these plans are marketing plans that you will use again and again.
It's real rinse and repeat stuff.
Yeah.
It really is. And we talk about quarterly planning. That's exactly, we've designed it so that you can literally use it over and over.
Yeah. So most people might look at this and go, I've been sparked to get back in control and interested in marketing again. Or maybe you guys have just not started. Wherever you're at, the plans and the guide is going to help you with this.
Yeah.
And it also is something, once you have the end result, which are those 3 marketing plans that I spoke about, the lead gen, the evergreen, and the product launch ones, they are awesome to give to your outsourcers.
Yes.
Right? People working with you, the VAs, the branding people, the tech VAs that might be out there.
The web designers, even for your landing pages, if that's
social
what
media
you use,
content people,
all of those,
whatever it might be, because they need the guide to know what to do. And most of the time, creatives, speakers, authors, and coaches go, I don't know what I don't know, so I can't guide those people to do that work effectively. Yeah. So what we're doing here is literally just opening up the greenhouse, showing you everything, giving you examples, giving you templates. And it's $14.99.
$14.99.
Right? So it's something which we know is really important, and it's
so needed.
It is, and this is the thing. We want to teach you how to manage your business, right? So when we can give you all the marketing stuff and say, go and do that, we'll help you manage your business in ChangeMaker.
That's right.
Yes, we'll give you advice on the marketing, but we just want to give you the plans.
Yeah.
So it's not a limited offer. It's always going to be that price.
For sure.
But obviously, if you want to take charge of this new quarter and actually get your marketing set so you can actually end 2020 on
the
highest level that it could be, then just click the link in the comments. We'll also put it in the description of this Facebook Live as well.
For sure.
And ask us any questions, right? What's Joe saying? So worth it. It's a great pack. I know. So our ChangeMaker Central always get everything before our other members, because they're our VIPs, right? So they get to see. We have had some great reviews from them already and how they're using it. And you can see some of them on the sales page. So ask us any questions. If you're watching this on the replay, still comment, still ask questions in here. We always get back to you. Make sure you're in the hub if you're not already, because that's where we always do extra trainings and lots more resources and connect you with who needs to do this.
Absolutely.
You might be thinking you need a VA. Well, we have a whole training on that, and we have a whole directory of VAs.
Oddly enough, I actually need to go into the Connection Hub because someone just before we started going live has actually asked for that.
Still right, send the link. I'm buying now. It's in the comments.
So I pinned it so it's right at the very, very top so people can see it.
Tosin's going to get it. Yeah, so we really encourage you, Tosin. So I know that you're saying your head's spinning.
Yeah.
Download it, ask us questions. It's not a here, go and take it and you can't come back to us for any questions. We're always here for you. We're just here very limited.
Yes, exactly. just on a more limited basis. I am actually just going to pop ChangeMaker in here as well for you as a link, just so that you've got
it. And the point is that we are doing 3 hours each day on social media, but they are 3 separate hours. We're not both together. So you will get covered for the whole of the day till 11 o'clock at night. Right? So we love it. We love that some of you are already buying. Yes. If you're not, ask us questions. We're always here to support you, and we will see you next week.
Absolutely will.
I won't see you next week.
I will. Sorry. I will. So, yes. So I'll take good care of you, and we just love that you're here and that you're watching. And as we say, even if you've done the hashtag replay, go check this out, because there is nothing like the relief of knowing that your marketing is handled, because you can go out and do your brilliant self in the world. So on that note, Kelly's going to reach over and end that.
Enjoy the sunshine. It's the last day.